tell you guys. So we were just at Johnny Times and whatever, and she's sneaking around, and I should go over there. But I got some spooks to tell you guys, so I'm gonna walk back over here really quick. So I went outside for a walk because I'm really antsy, and oh, look at the doggo. So I went out because I just get tons of energy and I get like antsy just sitting around all the time. So I went outside for a walk, and I was walking outside, right, and in my place, Collegiate Village, there's this. Here, I'll go through these while I'm talking about this. But there's this circle in the back, right, that surrounds all it's surrounded by all the apartment buildings and stuff like that. So I start walking out there, and I like go back there, and I put on some music, and as I'm walking around, right, I go to the other side of the circle that's opposite of my apartment, and as I go there, right, there's this dude who's I assume it's the dude. I didn't really get a good look at them, but he was walking rather wide, and he had a very specific. It was a weird gait, but it was crackheady like level, and right. So like I'm walking, and as I pass by that center part, right, he comes around the corner of an apartment building that's far away, right, and it looks like as he walked out, right, he like saw me and then just started walking towards me. But it wasn't like it was almost like his intent was to walk around the circle, right? But I like walked over the circle, and I like ditched, like I got past to a point where there was an opening, and I like walked through an apartment building, and I went to the outer circle of the apartments, and I kind of like juked him basically, and I was like, okay, maybe it was just my imagination, maybe I was just like overthinking it, right? And then so I'm like walking around the outer circle, right, and I go to the front of the village, right, and as I walk towards the front of the village, there's a gatehouse, right, that lets people in. Oh, look at this dude. This dude's pretty sweet. There's a gatehouse that lets people in. And as I'm walking up there, right, there's a car that gets in really fast, right, and he drives in, and he takes a left, right, and he goes bombing down the street. I'm like, what the fuck, right? And as I, like, he passes me, I see a cop with a fucking spotlight pull in, right, and then drive down the street after him, right? But then this dude jukes him and goes into this driveway, or there's this little area you can drive in, right? He drives in and he goes in there, right? The cop passes him and he comes back out and he drives the other way, but he doesn't go out of the village. He just drives around to the end of the village, and I was like, what the fuck? Okay, that's crazy, right? And I was like, what the hell? Okay, whatever. And I keep walking, right? I don't see either of them pass as I'm walking, because, you know, it's a big circle. There's only one exit, right? Which was that front that they both came in. I don't see the cop. I don't see the car. And I'm just like, okay, whatever, like, I don't understand, but this is crazy, right? And as I'm walking back to my apartment, right, I'm walking around the outer ring, right, and as I'm walking there, I see where my opening in my apartment is. Like, I can't see my apartment, but I see, like, the parking space around it, right, because there's a parking space all around the circle, right, so I can see the area outside my apartment where the parking space is, and I see the fucking car. At least I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I see the fucking car that the cop that juked the cop, right? It was like this small, like, SUV looking car, and I see it right there. Its lights are on. It's sitting in a parking space, and it looks like it's waiting, right? And I was just like, okay, this has nothing to do with me, right? Like, I'm not a part of whatever's happening. So if I pass the car, they're not gonna bother me or whatever. But just because it was like sketchy, I was just like, dude, I don't want to be any part of that. I'm gonna go back to the inner circle, walk that way, and then go around where my apartment is, because I can go the back way, basically, and get around to my apartment, and go back in. And I don't have to deal with passing by so close to that car if anything were to happen, if the cops were to come or anything. I just don't want to be around. I just wanted to just totally let it go, whatever. So, as like, I'm walking around the outer circle, right? And to my left is this open area that leads back to that inner circle. But there's it's basically like a small parking lot right there. So I start walking through that parking lot, and as I start walking through that parking lot, around the circle comes that sketchy guy again, and he just like makes like he like looks to his side and like sees me, and I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know if it was he was just having this thought of like, I'm gonna go this way now, and it had nothing to do with me, but it was the same sort of reaction that happened the first time when I was walking around the circle, where he kind of was like doing this weird thing where he's walking, and then suddenly I kind of like came into view in his sight, and he just kind of immediately like NPC turned and started walking towards me, and like it was just like this weird energy, right? But the same thing happened when I turned, because like I was walking through there to avoid the other car, right? And as I'm doing that, this dude's like walking around the circle, and he kind of like sees me and then does this weird turn and starts walking towards me, but he doesn't walk straight towards me, right? And I walk around and go around the buildings, right? And he walks like, he went behind me, he went the other way, right? But it was the same weird, like, it looked like he was walking around the circle, and then he just saw me, and he was suddenly just like, I must leave the circle now, and just like kind of like turned and started walking. It was some fucking sketchy ass shit. But then I get back to my apartment, and the car is still sitting outside, right? These two things are completely unconnected. They're not at all, like, related to each other. It's the weirdest thing. That's why I'm so, like, I'm not sketched out or anything like that. I'm sitting in my apartment now and I'm fine. I'm just, like, it was just weird. It was bewildering, right? Anyways, I get into my apartment, and as I get into, here's the thing, right, is that there's the car sitting out there, right? But there's also this weird car that's sitting, not completely parked, lights on, it's running. I get into my apartment, I walk up the stairs, and there's a window on the stairs that I can look out and see that area. In my apartment, I can only see the circle. I can't see the inner circle. I can't see the outer circle from inside my apartment, but in the stairway I can see outside. And I looked outside and I saw the dude in the car, right? And then there was the dude in the weird slanted car, and then the weird slanted car, some dude came out and got into the car. This was really quick after I got in. And when he got in the car, he pulled out and started to go drive away. But before he could even do that, the weird car that was, like, waiting there, that came in with the cop and everything like that, right? That car just, like, gets out of its parking space and just books it, right? And I saw, oh, dude, it was just so weird. I didn't see the cop leave. I didn't see the other car leave. I didn't see anything. Like, I didn't see them. It was, oh, dude, it was just weird. And that sketchy guy was just fucking, I don't know, man. That was crazy times. I don't know what to make of that. So, like, I'm just sitting here kind of, like, trying to take that in, because it wasn't at all linked to me. It was just the weird sketchy guy, right? Like, that was the first thing, right? As I was working around the circle, and I was just getting some fresh air, and I was like, oh, it's nice out tonight. It's a really cool thing, right? And then I just, like, kind of look over and see him on the outer circle from the inner circle, and he just kind of, like, turns and starts walking towards me, and I was just like, oh, okay, dude, this is a little weird. Especially because, like, I don't live in the nicest area. Right now, there's the whole COVID-19 thing happening, right? So a lot of people aren't outside, and most people who are outside respect the whole social distancing thing, and I assume that there's not, but, like, again, this is not the nicest area. Like, the collegiate village itself is very nice, but outside of the village is a really kind of rough area, and it's not that uncommon. It's uncommon, but it's not that uncommon for people who have nothing to do with the village to sometimes just wander in, which is why security is a thing and why it's like a bigger thing now. But sometimes people just wander in. So, like, I'm a little on edge when I see someone I don't know around this area, kind of just, like, start walking towards me, like it just hit me the wrong way, and I was just like, no, like, I didn't assume they were gonna, like, stab me or anything like that. I was just like, that was weird, I'm gonna avoid this person. And then when I was walking around the second time and he came, and I was just like, oh, dude, what the fuck, this is so weird, and, like, I just didn't know what to do. That's a pretty sweet shield, gotta say. I wonder if he's the huntsman, because he's got a cool ass shield. Anyways, I just wanted to tell that story because I found it was like, if one of those things happened, I probably wouldn't have paid too much mind to it, but it was the weird combination of those two things. Like, I might have mentioned the guy like walking towards me. I might have like mentioned the cop story or something like that, but it wouldn't have taken this whole time for me to explain that whole story. But because those two things happened and they were so disconnected, it just like they in themselves were disconnected from each other, but I got to experience these two really fucking weird things that were happening at the same time right by me, and like it was something weird, man. I didn't know what to do. So anyways, I guess that'll just be an episode of me just talking about this story, because I don't know what else to... I just didn't know what to do, man. It was weird. So, anyways, that's, I guess, an episode. I'm gonna assume. I'm just gonna compile that as an episode on its own and put it out there. Thanks for listening to me ramble about that, because it was just a strange thing. By the way, you probably are watching this like a few weeks in the future in comparison to when, or maybe not. I don't know how much I'm gonna have, but this is all happening. Most of this game is being played both the 11th and the 12th of this day coming out. So this is the same night I started this game that my brain has spooged out and just done all its things, and is still just continuing to melt, absorbing all this information, right? But like, it's 9, what is it? It's 10 p.m. and I just walked outside for like 10 minutes just to get some fresh air, and all that stuff just happened in like, I don't even know where we can go from here. This night is gonna be crazy. I'm staying up as late as I can playing this, and then I'll go to sleep and then do the same tomorrow until I'm done with it, and just enjoy the fuck out of this game. But it's just that was the thing that happened, I guess. I don't know. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Have a good day, I guess. Bye, Aga.